This course will focus on the process of adding and validating shift schedules. Shift scheduling in OnTarget allows you to assign clients, employees, and shifts to specific sites. The schedules can be validated to ensure staffing requirements are met for the corresponding services. Notes can then be launched from the shift schedules, and each staff member associated with the shift can sign off on the note. Staff can pick up shifts or add themselves to shifts as needed, per appropriate security permissions. Staff can also be required to clock in and clock out of shifts for time and attendance. Let's go through the process of actually scheduling for the shifts. Click on Scheduling and go to the Add Schedule button. Click on Add Shift Schedule. Enter the date. Next, choose the site for which you're scheduling for. Click Add. The shift scheduling window will now appear. This is where you will select the caregivers and the clients for your individual shifts. Starting with the Caregivers cell, select the checkboxes beside each caregiver scheduled for the corresponding shift. Notice that the shifts are presented from left to right in chronological order, starting with any 12 a.m. shifts first. The maximum number of shifts shown in the same horizontal is 3 panels. Any shifts in excess of 3 per day will be displayed on a separate horizontal line below. In this case, I don't have any. For each shift, I will designate the appropriate staff I intend to work. Directly below each caregiver cell is the Client cell. Note that the clients are checked by default. This is by design for maximum efficiency, since typically, if the clients are in the home, they're going to be receiving services. You may uncheck the box if the client will not be at the home for whatever reason during that given shift. The system populates the clients based on the site that was chosen. This is why it was critical to assign the clients to the home facility in the configuration setup. You will also notice that services have populated by default. This is a result of designating the default service on the authorization, also something that was reviewed in the configuration courses. Services can also be manually edited simply by clicking in the service if you need to change it to, let's say, therapeutic leave, indicating that the client will not be in the home for that shift. You'll notice a column for missed shift in both the client and caregiver sections. This may be important to you to understand when staff, for example, end up calling out of a shift or didn't work for a particular reason, and you want to be able to go back in time to track why maybe you had problems covering the shift or to keep up with employee attendance. For each shift, you also have the ability to choose a status and to enter comments. If a status is selected, it would override the default color of the shift, since each status is also given a particular color. It is probably not very likely that you would need to use the status field since each shift is already color-coded, but in the event you need to assign a specific shift to a certain category, you have the option to do so. Comments are simply generic notes that you may want indicated for that shift, just as reminders, for example, to the staff, or to record certain activities that need to happen for the given shift. Flex shifts are useful when you need to add a non-standard shift to the schedule on the fly. To add one, simply click Add Flex Shift and enter a start time and end time. This will drop in a new shift for that particular day. Flex shifts should be used sparingly, only for those random shifts that get introduced at the last minute and don't warrant being set up as a regular shift because the times are simply just not routine. The intent is simply to allow the scheduler an easy way to add new times for staff coverage on any given day. Click Save in order to save the schedules for the single day selected. Or click Reoccurrence if the same staff will be working the same shifts at the particular site. You may create a reoccurrence pattern that repeats per frequency selected based on the date range provided, or you may choose to enter specific dates. Note that only Saturday and Sunday are eligible for selection here, since the shifts that I have chosen from the beginning are weekend-only shifts. Now that I have successfully saved, I can close the window and now review them by using my filters accordingly. I can either search by site or I could use shift if I wanted to look at any particular shift within the weekend. All filters are optional based on your desired search results. You will now see my shifts. I can hover my mouse over them, and anything in red indicates that I have coverage issues. Green indicates that I have met all coverage requirements. My flex shift does not have a color since it was added on the fly and is not configured with a specific color. I can also check my coverage by clicking the Validate Shifts button. This will allow you to report on any shifts that do not meet the predefined service-specific staffing requirements. Enter in a desired date range and click Run Validation. This will then let you know the days where you have not scheduled enough caregivers to meet the requirements. In this case, my shift is not covered because 2 caregivers are required and 0 are scheduled. I can export this to report on accordingly.